Hello, everybody. So, welcome to our first episode of Ask Kaila. So, I am Kaila, New York, and I know a lot about a lot. So, I am here to help. I love helping. I love talking. I have Mercury in my third house with Saturn. So, this is why it took so long for me to get here with you guys. I know a lot about a lot of things, and it's easier for me to answer a question than for me to get and just start on a topic, because I tend to go off on a tangent. So it's like, if you ever watch my videos, you'd be like, it's all over the place sometimes. That's why I started cutting them up. But yeah, so there's a lot of information, and I am wanting to stay on one topic. So that one topic will answer that one question for the person, the viewer, whoever the question, ding ding, whoever sends me the question. So this is our first episode, so I'm excited. I've always wanted to do this. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I always wanted to do this ever since I was a kid. It was one of the things that I wanted to do, because we had something called Ask Abby. It was in the newspaper, and people would write into this person, and she would give them advice on different things. And I was like, I want to be an Ask Abby. So now I am an Ask Kaila. So you can pretty much ask me anything. Be respectful. I will not tell you who sent it. So I won't be being like, yeah, so-and-so from so-and-so, no, I'm not going to do that. It's confidential. It might be so confidential that I may not do a video, but I would send it to the person who sent it to me. So the way that you just DM me, send me questions, you can also send me questions at Kaila, Kaila, at KailaNewYork.com. You understand? So you can send your questions there, and I will do my best to answer all the questions to the best of my ability. I will not lie. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. And it will be great if I can also get guests on here to answer your questions as well. So we'll see where this goes, people. We'll see where this goes. So welcome to Ask Kaila. So let's get into the first question. The first question I have is about healing myself. So the question is, why did I start healing myself? That's the question. So why did I start healing myself? I don't remember. It's weird because I don't remember when it started. I don't remember when the healing process, because I didn't know, that there was anything wrong with me, but I also felt like something wasn't right. I felt like something wasn't right. So I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio sun, and Aries rising, and a Capricorn Sagittal. So yeah, I'm a lot, but you get a lot too. But anyway, so I always wanted to dig. I always wanted to know. I wanted to know what was what. I always wanted to know. So I'm nosy as hell. So I think it started when I learned about astrology. When I learned, and people are like, oh no, seriously. When I learned about astrology, and then I learned also about numerology. When I started to learn about those things, where astrology is the blueprint that you came with, the stuff that you came with, everything that you're equipped with, it'll tell you in astrology. Numerology will tell you what you came here to do with that shit. You understand? It's connected. So that's, once I figured that part out, I was like, huh. So I started working the charts. Right? But the problem was, while I was working the charts, it wasn't quite working. And I was just like, what? Why isn't it working? then I started watching like different people, on YouTube and stuff, and they were talking about childhood wounds. Aaron Doughty is a really good one. That's where I started. Yeah, and then he introduces you to Abraham Hicks, and then Abraham Hicks he also introduces you to Bashar and all these other things. You got to start with his hair really short. Just saying it. Anyway, but I started watching him, right? And then I started watching Astro Finesse when it came to astrology. And because it was just like, yeah, he started talking about the Chiron. And I was like, what the hell is a Chiron? You understand? And that's what made the thing start. And then I started watching the Hannah Everywhere. So those three people, it was like a trifecta of shit. And I was just like, somehow, some way, it was literally like this. I took the three of them and was just like, something's not right. You understand? Because something was missing. And it was like, if I'm this powerful, according to Astro Finesse, right? I'm this powerful being, right? Remember, I am a Scorpio sun, an Aries rising, and a Capricorn moon. Those are my like core principles. Aries is like Aries is all over my chart. He's the ruler of my chart. So I'm like, if that's what's happening, why am I over here shrinking myself and trying to be something that I quite am not for someone who doesn't even care about me? Why am I doing that? Right? What is wrong with me? And this wasn't just in my marriage. This was where I worked. This was who I worked for. This was for different things. And I was just like, yo, what is this? Why is this? Right? Took it back over here. Ash Vanessa is like, nah, you the shit, bro. like you the shit. Like, and then Hannah, she's like, no, you're supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing this, because they not only talked about astrology, they talked about numerology as well, especially Astro Finesse. Check out his shows. So it's like, they started doing that. And I was just like, yo, if I'm supposed to be this big, huge thing, what is this? And then I started to listen to Aaron Doughty, and he was just like, you're repeating patterns. You're repeating your parents. You have to, he didn't say you have to release your traumas, but he was the one who made me understand that there was trauma. I didn't realize there was trauma at all. Like at all. I thought this was normal. I was just like, oh, it is what it is. I thought it was normal. I did. I thought it was normal. I thought it was like that for everyone. I did not realize that it was not, and it was like crazy for me. So I would watch him and I would be like, huh. And then I would test the theory. I would just test the theory. That's what I did. True story. Just tested the theory, and the theories were sound. And I started to learn different things. I started to watch Joe Dispenza. Oh my God, Joe Dispenza. If you have not subscribed, like I haven't had a subscription to Gaia for quite some time now, because I've been developing my own tools and stuff. So it's like I haven't been watching Gaia as much. Plus I'm full with the stuff that I know and that I've tested and all that other stuff. So for me, I can't really absorb any more knowledge without taking out and teaching what I've learned, because I'm full. Like it's full up here. So I watched Joe Dispenza. Watching Joe Dispenza made me realize that I can rewire my brain. First, this dude tells me I have trauma and that my childhood wasn't supposed to go down the way it went down. And you need stopped repeating stuff, taught me how to meditate and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that was dope. Then jumps to this dude and he's like, oh, not only do you have trauma and all this other stuff, but you can rewire the way your brain works and correct all that stuff. And I was just like, what? So I started watching Joe Dispenza on Gaia. I started watching him and I was just like, so this, and then I started testing all these people that I am talking about, tested their theories. I am not bullshitting. I don't got time for that. I got businesses, people. I don't got time to bullshit you. This is what I've done. This is like my life's work. Like healing myself has become my life's work. And teaching you how to heal yourself has also become my life's work. It's my mission. It's a mission of mine, among other things. It's a mission of mine. But I started watching that and I was just like, oh, wow. So I started testing Joe Dispenza's theories, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we hear ourselves. Then I started watching Jordan Peterson. I might get these names wrong. I'm not good with names. I started watching Jordan Peterson and I was just like, holy shit. And it was all just coming to a point where I learned the emotion code. Like I did. I learned on Gaia. You got to go to Gaia. And I learned muscle testing. That's what was a game changer for me. And using muscle testing on the emotion code. I have to give Bradley Nelson his props because if it wasn't for him, that wouldn't, now that I'm thinking about it, we're going to pause right at Bradley Nelson because Bradley Nelson was right before everything just went to Keisha's an energy healer. You understand? So let's take it back. Let's rewind a little bit, right? Because this is answering the question. My healing journey started in church. And I said this before. My healing journey started in church. I went to church for probably about 8 years. I think I started at 27 and I went there for 8 years and it was like getting a college degree in whatever, so I watched, we call him the apostle. He was a pastor, but he wasn't a pastor. But it was different. You understand? And I watched him heal people. Like I watched him heal me. I have been the recipient of certain things. Like he would pray for you and your life would change. He would lay hands on you and he would connect with, I didn't know at the time he was connecting with you and maneuvering stuff and rewriting codes within the inside, and I stood there in awe of him. And I was just like, I want to do that. I want it. And so I started watching him and I didn't mimic what he did. At that time, they called it the Holy Spirit. So you call it your higher selves. It's the same person. You understand? So I started listening to the guidance of the Holy Spirit and I started moving and doing things. What I learned in church was I was an usher, right? So when people would go into spirit or whatever, it would be me who would be behind you, catching you, making sure you don't hit your head on the concrete, right? So the pretty red rug had only concrete underneath it. So if you fell, you were going to get hurt. So we were charged to make sure people did not fall and hurt themselves. We were very good at what we did. I was the head of it, of course. I created it, actually. Now, to say it out loud, I created it. We went somewhere and on a retreat, and we had it there. And I was like, hey, why not take it from there to here? Because I was hospitality at the retreat and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was fun. You got to meet people. You got to talk to people. You got to make people smile. You got to help people. So I was, I was full blown people pleasing mode. So what? That was right up my alley. But I digress. So I went to the apostle one day and I gave him a proposal, and I was like, yes, I was writing proposals back then. Where did I work at the time? I think I worked at like M5 or something like that. I worked somewhere where that was kind of what I did. So I drafted a proposal and I was just like, hey, why we should do it, and what we should do and stuff. And he was like, this is great. You're the head of it. And I was like, oh, shoot. I got to pick out their clothes and all that other stuff. But I digress. So I was hands on with the people. It wasn't like I was sitting in a pew. I was working the room. I went to church, but I also worked at church. Right. So I had this friend, her name is Michelle. So what would happen is they would specifically call me to usher her. And I was like, okay. And I knew why they started calling me. Because remember, I had said before, once I started to see him heal people, it's funny. I never thought to myself, I don't think I could do what he does. I don't know. I don't know if it's the arrogance in me, but for some reason, I was like, if he could do it, I could do it too. I want to do that. He was like, I can see angels all over. I was like, I want to see angels, and I was just like, oh, shoot, I want to do that too. That Dance With Me movie, that was me. I want to do that too. Yeah, it never dawned on me that I could do it. It didn't dawn on me that I couldn't do it. I was like, yeah, but I digress. So then they would call me to usher her, right? They would call me to usher her. And at first I didn't understand why they were calling me to usher her. They were like, Keisha, you need to usher her. Amongst other people, because other people, they used to buck and it used to be crazy. So they needed people to hold them. And a lot of the usher board was a little bit older and didn't want to like really get in it, So I'll still usher today. It was exhilarating, but I digress. But yeah, so they called me to usher her, and what would happen is she was going through a lot. You understand? She was going through a lot, especially at that time. So when she went out, it was kind of like she didn't pass out where they just drop. There's different passer outers. there's the ones that just drop. There's the ones that, flail around like you have to hold them down. I had one person and she was on my team. Every time he prayed for her, she tried to run out the church. And I was just like, yo, where are you going? It was crazy. They only made me usher her. That was me. If I didn't go to church that day, people were not happy if she was up there. But you have the other people like Michelle, who when she passed out, now that I'm where I am now, I didn't know what I was seeing, right? There was like a blanket. It looked like a blanket of sorrow over her. Now that I'm looking, because I'm looking at it, it was like a blanket of sorrow. And I was just like, what the fuck is that? And I remember that when certain people would go into the spirit, that's what they called it. They would go into the spirit. What I would remember is the apostle whispering in their ear. No, I'm wrong. I'm not right. He used to say, tell them this. That's exactly what he used to say. He used to be like, tell them it's going to be okay. Talk to them. He used to yell at the ushers for that. He was like, talk to them, because what's happening is he's shaking shit up. It's like he's literally shaking shit up. And it's like it's coming to the surface. And some people, they're not ready for that. They didn't expect it. They didn't order it, So it's like not everyone just passes out. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the spirit and energy. So, and I'm telling you, I was there. It's real. At least for him. Nobody else. I can't vouch for anybody else, but I digress. So yeah. So he would say that, So that's what I would say to her. Now that I'm looking at the movie, I'm watching myself go through that barrier or that whatever and stand in her ear and be like, you are okay. Now, what I would say, knowing me with energy healing and all this background now, I would say you're safe, because that was her nervous system shutting protocols down, or initiating protocols shut down. And it was like I had to get in there with her and calm her and just touch her. And I would touch her. I would always touch her. And now I realize I didn't realize what I was doing. I just knew, and because the spirit was like, do this, this, and this. That's what I heard. Literally, a lot of times when you see me doing stuff, don't be impressed. I have a co-pilot going, do this, don't do this. You're saying that way too much. Stop doing it. There's a co-pilot. Yeah, he said, I have co-pilots, and it's just like, follow what they tell me to do, because I've tested their theories and their theories are sound, so like accurate, weird, scary, I didn't know my life was going to be a fairy tale accurate, and listen to your co-pilot. That's the first rule of healing. Listen to your co-pilot, but make sure it's your co-pilot and not your own brain trying to play a trick on you. But that's where it started. Why did I start? Because I had to tell you where I started to tell you why I started. I started because I saw him do it. Like that. You want to, now that I didn't even realize that myself. This is going to help me. I didn't even realize that. I started healing because of him. I did. I started healing because of him. But the thing is, I couldn't stay in that container. So that's why the container, and this is not like pop your collar shit. The container was too small to hold me. Does that make sense? A lot of you, the container is too small to hold you. That's why it's uncomfortable. That's why you're like, these people get on my fucking nerves. You understand? It's like, that's why things aren't really working the way it should. Muscle test to find out if this is for you. That's how you muscle test. When you scroll through TikTok, right? Muscle test to see if that video is for you, because not all videos are for you, but I digress. But yeah, so I started because of him. I did. I started because of him, and the container was too small, because it was only what always bothered me about being in a church is that it seemed like it was only about that church. Does that make sense? We only served the people within that church. And that bothered me. It bothered me because it started, and this is no judgment. I'm just telling you what I saw. It started them against us type thing. That church against our church. And it was, and I was just like, and I realized when the container was too small. And it was when I met another girl from the church across the street, and we just struck up a conversation. And I was like, wow, she is really cool. She was a really cool girl. And I was just like, damn. So it doesn't matter what church you go to, it matters who you are, and then it started to go into, I want to heal the world, right? I want to heal the world. I gotta be able to heal the world. And then I started to learn about different things. You understand? And that's when the astrology and Dowdies and all the other the dispensas and the finesses and all that other stuff started. And it was in 2015. Oh shit, this is coming full circle. This is a hell of a question, boy. It was 2015. 2015 is when my spiritual awakening started, and I realized I wanted to heal myself, because the whole time I kept saying I wanted to heal the world. I wanted to heal people. I even had a guy one time that was a mentor of mine for a little bit. He was like, you cannot help anyone until you first help yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. I really wasn't paying attention. I was like, okay. Later on, when I look at that, I'm like, he was 100% right. Because I kept saying I wanted to heal the world. I kept saying, oh yeah, I'm here to heal the world. I'm here to heal people and make people feel good and all this other stuff. And I was broken. I was broken. I was, okay, see, this is always very, this is my higher self. I wasn't broken. I was damaged. There's a difference between broken and you can't fix broken. Like, you understand what I'm saying? When a car is broken, when anything is broken, right? It's never going to be the way it was. Does that make sense? My car kept getting into car accidents. It wasn't me, but I digress. You understand? So the first time that car got into a car accident, it was broken. There was no, it worked. It worked, but it never worked the way it was supposed to work when it came off the assembly line. Does that make sense? Now, if something is damaged, that means you can repair it. It's damaged. It's not broken. It's just damaged. You got like you got hit in your shoulder and you're like, oh shit, that hurt. You understand? And then you press it, it did damage. If someone says something to you or you have some type of trapped emotion or something that needs to be cleared, that's causing damage. It's not broken. Just like an arm that is broken may never work the same way that it started when it was right off the assembly line. You understand? So being damaged and broken are two different things. I was damaged. When I tell you I was damaged for a long time because it started from childhood. It started from my freaking childhood, and my parents, I realized that they were kids. They were 19 and I think 22 or something, like some crazy number when they had me. That's like Jaden having a baby and taking care of it by himself. No. You should not get. Yeah, I'm happy you did because I'm here. Thank you for, but they were kids. So it was a house full of kids just raising kids. And a lot of us in that group, that's who we were left with, so they were learning the same way we were learning. I had a kid at 26 and I still wasn't ready for it. I still made mistakes, and I realized that but guess what made me realize that? Healing. I had to heal because even though I'm like healed and I understand, that doesn't mean it didn't damage shit. Like, I had to go in there, rewrite code, repair it, clear it, heal it, and like work through it. And I'm still working through some stuff, but it caused damage. So by the time 2015 came around, it was bad. It was kind of bad. It was kind of bad. And I was like, something has to change. I knew something had to change. And I had a reading done. By a lady, and she got my rising sign wrong. She told me I was a Pisces rising, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. I was like, I'm not really, because I've been studying it before that. And I was like, I'm not really Pisces energy. I don't think that's right. And I didn't go back and tell her that, but that's what started the going into astrology thing. That's how I started doing astrology, because I was just like, this is not right, and it was odd the way things just play out. Like, Abraham Hicks changed my fucking life. Like the steps and all that other stuff that I tested, that they said about, dude, like Dolores Cannon, like these things, like freaking Matteo Di Stefano, what dimensions that it's like everything played into everything else, but I still wasn't healing until I got to muscle testing. That's when I was like, I need to go in and heal me. It's not for my kids, not for my partners who or work, whatever partner. It's not for anybody except me. And I realized that once I can do that, I can teach you how to do it too. Does that make sense? All the tools, all the teas, the oils, the whatever, they were all to heal me. And I'm using it now to teach you how to heal you. Because if you're watching me, it's, yeah, you're at that brink where it's like, okay, something's not right. We got to change this. Hey, they sent me, you know, so I'm supposed to be at a higher level. I need to unlock my divinity. Does that make sense? And I need to know that I'm divine. I need to know who I am. Like, I used to walk around asking people, what do you see when you see me? What do you see? Because I couldn't see anything, you know, and that was another reason why I healed myself, because I needed to know who I was for myself. I needed to know, why am I doing this? Like, what is this for? You know, and it made me look within, amongst other things, made me start, like, that triggered me and stuff on my journey, you know. But why I started healing myself, because I realized that I couldn't serve what I was serving, because it would be poisonous to the people that I served it to. You understand? I was serving you from a wounded place, from a damaged place. And serving from a damaged place does not help anyone. You understand? You shouldn't eat from people who are sick. And that's no judgment on people who are sick. That's not good energy. You understand? The energy output that I was dispensing was no good. It's another reason why I started healing myself. I wanted, when I gave anything, whether it be a compliment, whether it be money, whether it be time, whether it be anything, I wanted, when I gave it, that the energy that the person receives, the energy that I output, heals something. And I wasn't feeling that. And I knew that I needed to heal the parts of me that were damaged. And there was a lot, you know. And then that's when the different techniques and stuff started showing up. The different techniques started showing up, the different thought processes, you know. My team had room to move. That's where all the charts came from, all the clearings, all the learning to clear, the language, all that other stuff started, because I realized that I'm here too. You understand? I want you to understand you're here too. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be able to be yourself and be happy with who you see. Because people are like, what do you mean? What if people are themselves and they're jerks? People who are jerks, people who are rude, people who are mean, one, they might be contrast for you. So that's an Abraham Hicks thing. You know, they may be contrast for you. or Aaron Dowdy thing. They may be, you might be reliving your parents or reliving someone. They might be that reason, yes. But the ultimate thing is that person doesn't like being like that. They don't sleep well at night. You understand? You're their contrast, because them hurting you is hurting themselves. You can't hurt others and expect yourself to be okay. It doesn't work that way. The law of even exchange will enact. You have to. Why do you think I'm good to people? I'm good to people because I'm a good person, damn it. But I practice the golden rule. I treat others the way I want to be treated. And I also let you fuck around and find out. Like, don't get it twisted. I am a double-edged sword, but I digress. But yeah, I treat people how I want to be treated. So, because I like the energy that comes off of me when I do. When I help people, when I teach, when I clear for people, when I do things out of love, not trauma, not people pleasing, not craving validation loop stuff, none of those stuff, but because it's within my power and it's my assignment and I do it because I want to, not because I have to, that makes me feel good, because it flows like water. Anything else, it feels jagged and it feels off. So I also heal myself, and I can now continue. I heal myself continuously because I need my river clear. Does that make sense? The river that I have of water that comes out of me needs to be clear. I can't come with murky water, because when you serve with murky water or you pour out stuff that's tainted, it's going to land tainted. And I like I told you, I don't make these videos for me to be popular. You understand? Will it happen? Probably. I'm adorable, but I digress. But I do it because it's true. I do it because all those people I mentioned earlier, they made a video. They made a video that I watched that I needed. And I would be an ass if I didn't return it. And if I didn't say who I learned from. Does that make sense? Because I don't want you not to get the knowledge. I don't want you to be like, yeah, oh, Keisha has all the knowledge. She learned this, and this, and this, and that. And you don't really understand whose theories I was testing. They're like the new Aristotle and, Socrates and all those other people. You understand? Those are these people. They are, for me, they are like, they help me become a master in my field, by studying different great people. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying this for you to understand that you're watching me because it's time. It's time. You keep running. You can keep running. You can keep avoiding. But yeah, it's time. It's time. And you cannot play small anymore. You can't. You're supposed to be bigger than you are. You have to clear. You have to heal yourself. That's what this is all about. Thank you for the person in their question. And I hope I answered it. It was a little all over the place. I hope I answered it. But you have to heal yourself. You do. I'm going to do all I can to help you understand. First thing, you gotta learn muscle tests. Muscle testing is the gateway. But yeah, that's why that's why I started healing myself. Because I'm here too. I'm here too. And I am a really good person. Like, I'm not a nice person, but I'm a really good person. And I deserve to be happy. And happiness cannot come from an external person only. And it won't land in your field until you love and know who you are first. Because they're going to be coming into a house and they're going to start moving stuff around, and because they don't see anything here. Does that make sense? So you heal you first. You get you under control, because you're going to eventually have to you understand what I'm saying? Those who understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. You understand? I say all things to say union can't happen with the other person until union happens with yourself. You have to be in union with yourself. And then once you're in union with yourself, then other and exterior things can come and go, or come in. I'm not clear to do that one yet, but yeah. So that all starts by you dedicating your life to heal yourself. You understand? And if you're like, no, I'm healed, I don't got any problems, great. That is great. Mission accomplished. But I think you need to check. Just check it. Just check. I meditate. Yeah, okay. Do you clear the emotions that you went through? The breakups, the good parents that got hurt, or the good parents that, things didn't go right with. Are you clearing those things? Because those things get trapped. Like I said, if you're watching me, you're supposed to. All right? I love you guys. Thank you. First episode of Ask Kaila. Thanks for watching Ask Kaila. DM me any questions that you have, or you can email them to me at kailanewyork.com. Love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. Deuces, and I'm out.